All right, so let's jump right in. Today, we're going to be looking at an idea, a really powerful one, that could honestly change how you see pretty much everything. It's a kind of forgotten blueprint for making sense of complexity, and it's been hiding in the work of a 19th century philosopher. You see this everywhere, right? We're always being pushed to pick a side, to see the world in black and white. But take a second and really think about that. Does life actually work that way? Doesn't it feel like, I don't know, something's missing from that picture? Well, that's exactly what we're getting into. We're going to see how we can move past these simple, kind of restrictive either-or answers that just feel so incomplete. Because what if there is a third option? What if there's a whole other structure for thinking? A blueprint, you could say, that's been right under our noses this whole time. A way of thinking that actually welcomes complexity and nuance. And that blueprint? Well, it has a source. We've got to travel back in time a bit, to a philosopher whose work is, believe it or not, more relevant today than it ever was. And the guy's name is Charles S. Peirce. Now, this philosopher was kind of obsessed with the basic patterns of how we think. He looked at logic, he looked at categories, but the big one for us is triads. That's the key. This is where it all starts. So, a triad, what even is it? It's super simple. It's just a structure of three. But don't let that simplicity fool you. That one little jump from 2 to 3 is a total game changer. It gets you out of that dead end of opposites and opens up this whole new dynamic way of seeing the world. It's not just about A versus B anymore. Suddenly, it's about how A, B, and C all relate to each other. And here's the cool part. His idea didn't just get buried in some dusty old book. Nope. You fast forward to the 20th century, and you start seeing these academic papers pop up, like these ones from 66 and 79. Scholars started digging back into Peirce's work and were like, whoa, wait a minute, there's something huge here that everybody missed. And that's when things get really interesting, because that rediscovery in academia, that was just the spark. Now this so-called forgotten blueprint is popping up in some of the most unexpected, seriously cutting-edge fields you can imagine. Okay, first stop on this tour, quantum cognition. Yeah, I know, sounds wild, right? It's literally the science of using ideas from quantum mechanics to model how our brains work. And guess what's sitting right at the heart of it? They call it the quantum cognitive triad. Basically, it's this stable three-part framework they use to figure out how we make choices. So instead of a simple yes or no, it brings in a crucial third player, context. I mean, they're modeling this stuff with quantum concepts like qubit states, which is mind-blowing. But the big takeaway for us is this. Our decisions are never just about two options. It's always the two options plus the context we're in. Everything gets processed in threes. It's like this pattern is baked right into how we think. Okay, so that's quantum cognition. Now let's check out another field, because this pattern just keeps showing up. Turns out Peirce's thinking also set the stage for a total revolution in logic itself. For ages, logic was stuck on this two-lane highway, right? Everything was either true or false. That's it. But then thinkers like Lukasiewicz came along and basically built a third lane. They introduced a three-valued logic. It adds a maybe or an I don't know yet. And that simple addition, it lets logic actually deal with the gray areas and the uncertainty of the real world, which, let's be honest, is how things actually are. And the pattern doesn't stop there. This whole idea of a three-part structure, it's not just for super smart computers or philosophers. It's actually fundamental to, well, to us, to how we build our entire social world. Think about it like this. You start with one person, an individual. Then you have two people, a pair, a dyad. It has a certain back and forth, right? Me and you. But the second you add a third person to that mix, boom, the entire dynamic flips on its head. Now you can have a mediator, or a rival, or an ally. The whole concept of the group is born. That triad, that group of three, is literally the atom of all social life. So let's pull back for a second. What does all this mean? We followed this thread, this forgotten blueprint, from a 19th century philosopher all the way to modern quantum science and sociology. This is clearly more than just some quirky idea. It's a whole new way of looking at things, a new lens for the world. And this is why it's so important. The power of three, it's our escape hatch from that trap of either-or thinking. It gives us a much richer, more accurate way to understand just how complex the world really is. And it's just so cool how this old idea from philosophy is having this huge comeback in modern science. It's a practical tool, something you can literally use every single day to look for that third way, to see the nuance, and to spot the connections that were invisible before. So, I'm going to leave you with a question to chew on. You've got the blueprint now. So in your own life, at work, with your friends, even when you're just scrolling through the news, where are you going to start seeing the power of three?